Chelsea are going to make the Club World Cup final. They're going to do it, aren't they? They've just won 2-1 and they've sent Estevao packing, which is weird expression to say because he's going to be a Chelsea player imminently. They're through to the semi-final of the Club World Cup after maybe not on the score sheet, but in terms of the match stats against Palmeiras, a very comfortable victory. They will then play Fluminense at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, which I'll be honest, I think they win and I think they make the Club World Cup final. And now I'm not going to lie, I said this maybe before the Benfica game, that looking at their side of the draw, they have been very fortunate because they're not playing the Bayerns, the PSGs, the Real Madrids, the Man Cities. Although Man City did get knocked out by Al Hilal, but they haven't really had to play anyone who go, oh, Chelsea are going to struggle. They've got heritage in this competition. They've got heritage in the biggest European competitions, and you can never really write Chelsea off, can you? And when you got a player like Cole Palmer in your ranks, who whenever it comes down to the big occasion, both internationally or for Chelsea, he manages to deliver. He always manages to deliver on the biggest stage. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. We just hit 60,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And the road to 70,000 is well and truly on. So if you could go down, smash that subscribe button as well. That would be greatly appreciated. We're nearly at 60,300 already, which is absolutely insane. But Chelsea won 2-1 against Palmeiras. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the game. I only managed to catch the highlights. The game was at 2 a.m. You know, thankfully, this game was done in 90 minutes. Man of the match was probably Chalobah or Palmer. I want to say a massive, Pedro Neto obviously just lost one of his closest friends in Diego Jota, and he managed to play pretty much nearly a full 90. So you have to kind of give him huge credit for putting on a brave face and going out there and doing his utmost for Chelsea. In terms of Chelsea's lineup, there was no Caicedo, there was no Reece James, there was no Jackson. You know, you did see Cole Palmer back in the 10. You saw Nkunku start on the left. Not Christopher Nkunku's best game, I'll be honest. In terms of the bench, you saw Noni Madueke come on. He come on about the, I think it was 50th minute, something like that. Obviously, heavily linked to a move to Arsenal. They brought in Joao Pedro to make his Chelsea debut. And then Kieran Dewsbury Hall come on, and so did Dario Isugo. But that was the Chelsea lineup. Sanchez, Cucurella, Colwell, Chalobah, Gusto. Chalobah's probably my man of the match. Fernandes, Santos, Neto, Palmer, Christopher Nkunku, and Liam Delap. And it's clear to see that going off of, the amount of game time that Delap is getting, based on this tournament, he looks like he's going to be the number one striker going into next season. Chelsea did get off to a perfect start. I always talk about the early part of the game, the first 15 minutes of the first half and the first 15 minutes of the second half. When you got the manager's team talk ringing in your ears, Cole Palmer makes it 1-0 in the 16th minute. A lovely diagonal pass from Trevor Chalobah. And then Cole Palmer makes the goal his own. And it's a very, very good finish. And other than that, they were knocking on the door, really, really knocking on the door, Chelsea, to go and score. They had something like 7 shots or 8 shots in the first half compared to Palmeiras' 1. They had 19 shots overall compared to Palmeiras' 7. 6 shots on target compared to Palmeiras' 2. But a familiar face to all Chelsea fans, Estevao did respond, did show some individual quality, did get on the score sheet. And this kid is 18 years of age. He made his mark on the world stage. Cole Palmer then after the game actually come out and said, Estevao is a top player. We can all see that. This is Fabrizio Romano's quote. And then he went on to say, I told him we're excited to have him join, but he didn't understand a single word I said. But, real recognizes real. You can clearly see that there is some talent in this kid. You can see why Chelsea decided to sign him. He did get Palmeiras back into the game, and then it come from an own goal from Agustin. I believe it's pronounced Giay, their right back. And Chelsea ended up winning 2-1. Now, you look at the Club World Cup matches, Fluminense against Chelsea, it's very, very hard for me not to say that Chelsea will be in the Club World Cup final. I think they are, without a doubt, the absolute clear favourites. Fluminense are no mugs. They did knock out Al Hilal, who knocked out Manchester City. And the Brazilian teams have done well. This is where the competition's going to get exciting for me today. PSG versus Bayern Munich. Real Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. I'm going to say it right now. I think it will be a Chelsea-PSG final. I think PSG will beat Bayern Munich. Real Madrid will beat Dortmund in the Bellingham derby. And then Real Madrid will lose to PSG. And Chelsea will knock out Fluminense. But even if Chelsea don't go on to win it, financially, the amount of money that Chelsea have gained from this tournament already is absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. I see something like, here we go. I'll bring this up on the screen so you guys can have a look of it. They've pretty much already covered back some of their signings. They've already covered back the Joao Pedro money. That's insane. 29.6 million participation package. 3 million for 2 wins. 5.8 million for reaching the round 16 knockout. 10 million for reaching the quarterfinal. 16.3 million for reaching the semi-final. They'll probably get another 20 million for reaching the final. If Chelsea beat Fluminense, then you're looking at 85 million pounds generated from this tournament. And I'll be honest, it would not surprise me if Chelsea go out there and beat PSG. And I know that's a wild prediction. I know that's probably considered crazy because PSG, after all, are the team to beat. But I just think Chelsea have got heritage, man. 2 Champions Leagues, Club World Cup before, a Super Cup before. I mean, look at that from a financial perspective. You've covered back Gittins, or you've covered back Pedro. If they beat Fluminense, you've pretty much covered Pedro and Delap back. They're going to have a very, very interesting start to the season. It'd be interesting to see how they get on after the Club World Cup. Their first game of the season, of course, is Crystal Palace. They've got an interesting pre-season. They've only got 2 games scheduled so far, which, of course, is Milan and Leverkusen. Overall, though, the Club World Cup pretty much is their pre-season. The final game of the Club World Cup will be on the, I think is it the 15th? Is it the 15th or the 13th of July will be the final game. I will bring out some transfer news regarding Chelsea very, very soon. They are heavily, heavily linked. Oh, actually, while we're here, Enzo Maresca has spoken about Mohamed Kudus. And this would really, really piss me off. I'm not going to lie, guys, because, I want him at Spurs. Enzo Maresca, Mohamed Kudus and Chelsea. He's a West Ham player, so I can't say nothing. The only thing I can say is I've known Kudus since Ajax. So they are heavily linked with him. I don't really understand why they need to bring another winger in. Leave some of the other wingers for the rest of us. But it's going to be a very, very interesting Club World Cup, semi-final. There is Cole Palmer celebrating. Of course, you can see the Club World, the FIFA badge on the right-hand side. But they are into the final. They'll wait to see who how the other semi-finals get on. They are playing Fluminense at Tuesday, 8 p.m. So we will be there reacting to that. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, guys. I am Santos.